All right, welcome everyone to this June session, episode of Spiritual Questions Answered with CordyKet. And tonight, the topic is going to be the light system that protects us. Okay, those of you who follow my channel or my podcast, our videos, you'll hear me speak about this light, all right, the light that protects us many times. So I think it's time for me to share with everyone a little bit more in detail. Okay, what is this light system that protects us? Okay, so now first of all, we go right down to the basics. Okay, in terms of basics, what we want everyone to know is for humans, for us humans, there are three different types of invisible or subtle energies in our bodies. Three types, okay? Those of you who attend my classes or podcasts, you would have heard me say this many times. Now, the first type of energies that are in our body is called life force. Okay, the first type of energy that's in our body, okay, invisible energy that is called life force. Now, then there is this life force energy is present in all life forms. Okay, it's present in all life forms, and you can actually train to sense and detect this life force. Okay, whether it's an animal, a plant, or human, they all have this life force. Now, the second type of energy, okay, that are in humans, okay, is called chi. Okay, whether you spell it Qi or Chi, chi. Now, this is the energy that was discovered by the ancient Chinese. All right, so the ancient Chinese discovered there is this energy that flows in our body through a network of energy channels, which we now call meridians in English. All right, meridians. And there are energy centers. Now, the energy centers of this qi system, okay, are called dantian. The Chinese call it dantian. And in general, just very simple, basic, there are three energy centers. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So there's upper, middle, and lower. So this system was discovered by the Chinese, and the Chinese use the knowledge to cure all kinds of illnesses. All right, especially with acupuncture. All right, acupuncture, they will stick the needles onto the energy channels, right, the meridians, and they identify the ailments and so on. Okay, so the ancient Chinese have an entire system based on this energy that they discovered, and they call it qi. Okay, so qi and life force are different, yeah, just to be sure. Okay, I will cover a little bit of the differences, but today the focus will be on the third one. Now, the third one, is discovered by the Indians. Yeah, Prashant? All right, the third energy system is discovered by the Indians. Okay, now the Indians call this energy prana. Okay, so there are three different types of energies. There's life force, chi, all right, and there is prana. So prana is discovered by the Indians. Okay, the Indians call it prana. It is energy that flows in its own, so it has a system. Okay, when I say system, just to clarify, okay, so this one is a system. Okay, prana is also of a system. Life force doesn't really have a system. Okay, what a system means? System means there's like a whole system. There's a network. There are energy centers. So these two will have energy centers. They will have channels and centers. Okay, so for example, so the moment I say it is a system, so a system will typically have, first of all, energy centers. Okay, and then it will have energy channels where the subtle energy flows. Okay, so the chi system has it, the prana system has it. Okay, so in the chi system, the energy centers are called tan tian. The energy channels are called meridians, or they also have other terms, channels, okay, which translate to channel. Now for prana system, the energy centers are called chakras. Yeah, chakras. Have you heard of the term chakras? Okay, and the energy channels, especially the main energy channels, are called nadis. Okay, so if I were to color code it, okay, so for the Chinese, the energy centers are called tan tians, okay, and the energy channels are called meridians, right? So color code, yeah, blue responds to chi. Now for the prana system, the energy channels are called chakras, and the energy channels are called nadis. Okay, so this will be for the chi system. This will be for the prana system. Now, the prana system has another term, okay? Has another term, and the term, all right, which I normally use is light system. Okay, why do I call it light system? It's because for people who can perceive, who can sense this prana, all right, it appears to them as a form of invisible light. All right, it's like a form of invisible light. So for many people who see auras, especially the bigger aura, all right, the bigger aura, what you're seeing will be the aura of the prana or light system. And the aura appears as some form of light that surrounds a person. Okay, so the light system that I'm talking about is actually the prana system. Alright, this light system that I'm actually talking about is actually the prana system. Okay, so under the prana system, the energies centers are called chakras and the energy channels are called nadis. This is something very general, yeah? Because this is a class for the public. Okay, just to clarify with you, this is a class for public, for students who are learning with me under the Infinity Healing or Infinity program. All right, they will learn much more. So this is a basic class for the general public to understand about this light system. Okay, this light system, which the Indians call the energy is called prana, and it has a system because it has energy centers, okay, and it has energy channels. Now, one of the prime functions, all right, one of the prime functions of this light or prana system is that it protects us. Okay, it protects us. So it protects us. The question is, from what? Right? So now everyone finds out that we all have, or we all are supposed, all right, to have this light system that protects us. But protects us from what? So the main thing that it protects us is from negative energies, right? It actually protects us from negative energies, specifically invisible energies. Okay, now I'm just going to share a little bit. All right, I'm going to compare a little bit. Now, in recent years, some scientific research, some people say scientific research, but basically there are some form of scientific research that have managed to prove or indicate the existence of these two types of energies. Okay, and it is possible to do so because both these two types of energies fall under this very familiar energy that we know as electromagnetic energy. All right, some people will call it, in short, is EM. All right, some people call it EMF, electromagnetic force, electromagnetic field. All right, electromagnetic energy, electromagnetic frequency. F can stand for a couple of things, yeah. But the main thing is electric. It has an electric and magnetic component. Okay, so these two energies, all right, they have an electric and or magnetic component, and because they have electric or magnetic component, it can be detected by scientific instruments. Okay, most of the scientific instruments that detect invisible energies that we have. Now, invisible energies include like visible light or invisible light that we know, like infrared and ultraviolet rays are invisible to us. All right, our Bluetooth, our Wi-Fi, our 4G, 5G signals, they are all electromagnetic waves. They are generated using electricity and magnet, and they also have an electrical and magnetic component. Okay, so this way science know, because if you have electricity, it's possible to detect electricity. If you have a magnetic field, it's also possible to detect magnetic field. Okay, so the moment you have either or both, it can be detected. It's just that we can't see it. For example, like X-rays. X-rays are also a form of electromagnetic waves. We can't see it, we can't really feel it. All right, but you know, X-rays kill. Yes, those of you who heard, right? It kills the scientists that worked on it, that discovered it. They died of radiation exposure, right? So it's there. People don't feel it, but it's slowly killing you. You don't see it, you don't feel it, does not mean that it's not affecting you. Okay? So as long as electromagnetic energies, they can be detected. And then we go to the prana or light system, and there's a lot of debate about this. Okay, and most scientists consider this as, you know, nonsense, right? Because they have never been able to detect it. Never been able to detect it. And the reason is because this prana or light system is a form of energy that is non-electromagnetic. It's non-electromagnetic. This is very important. All right, the reason why most scientists cannot detect it is because it is not an electromagnetic form of energy. And because it's not an electromagnetic form of energy, our current technology cannot detect it. So this is a fundamental thing, okay? And about this light system, and yet, okay, there are some scientists that manage to detect this light or prana system, okay? And these scientists who managed to do it, you can actually trace all the way back, okay? It is said that the first scientists that managed to kind of detect this, okay, the scientists all come from the, how many people know this? The USSR, Soviet Union, okay? Now the modern country is Russia, all right? Have you all heard of machines that can detect auras? All right, there are a few technologies out there. Okay, you can actually, well, if you're interested, all right, there are a few technologies. There is a Curlian, there's GDV. These two technologies are similar, but they both come from the Soviets or Russia. Okay, the Soviets or Russians, right, managed to detect the auras in people. So there are these type of machines that are in the market, and the history, all right, the history for detecting this so-called light system, this aura, all right, it all started in Soviet Union or Russia, insofar as I know. Okay. Now the question is, how do they do it? Okay, and anyone here have tried a aura machine before? Anyone? No? All right. It's for those of you who are interested in such stuff. My own story was I have encountered this very early in my journey into all this stuff about energy and spirituality. And I encountered the aura machine at a spiritual shop in Singapore, a crystal shop in Singapore. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, I encountered it at a crystal shop in Singapore many years ago, maybe more than 2 decades ago. Okay, so and I think they are still available, and in many instances, I'm aware that some crystal shops, yeah, some crystal shops, they still have this because it's a way of for them to use the machine to read your aura, all right, read your aura and your chakras, and from there they will recommend crystals to you. Okay, and this technology comes from Russia or Soviet. Prashant said, I just came 4 months ago. Just came 4 months to Singapore, yeah? Yeah. I can't remember the name of the shopping mall, but you know, just look out for some crystal shops, yeah? Now, if you have now the model that I use is a model a long time ago. A long time ago, all right, the model to read your aura is they have a chair, like a sofa, all right, a single seat sofa where you sit down, you put your palms on top of 2 metal plates, all right, and there's a camera facing you, and then well, you smile or don't smile, okay, and then they will take a photo of you and they will show you your aura, okay, roughly. This was like more than 20 years back when I first did it. Nowadays, the modern one is even better. Okay, now this modern one, all it needs is for you to place your finger onto a finger reader. You know, it's kind of like those things that can read your pulse or whatever. Just a tiny little device. Yeah, now this device is very small, and normally this device is linked to a laptop whereby they run an app or program to analyze what the device reads of you. Okay, now, as I understand it, okay, now the current technology, okay, first of all, we need to understand the current technology for us to detect invisible energies are based on the ability to detect electric or magnetic components. Now, since the light system or the prana system is non-electromagnetic, it's not possible to detect it. Okay, so what did these Russians do? What did the Soviets do? They are very smart. All right, since the ability to detect invisible energies are based on electro or magnetic components, what they did is they electrify the subjects with a tiny potential, tiny electricity, tiny current. So in the old days, the model, all right, the model used was a chair with electric plate. So and I had to place my hands onto the armrest. There's electric plate here, electric plate here. So they will run a little bit of tiny little current, electricity through me, or to anyone who sit on the chair. Okay, that is non-dangerous. All right, then you electrify the person. Then the electricity will electrify this aura, and then they are able to use a camera to capture the aura. Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. The Soviets were quite brilliant about this. Okay. Just give me a moment. Can I just pause the recording? I need to, because I sneezed, I need to clear my nose. Give me a moment here. All right, I'm back. All right. So, the Russians managed to do a device, all right, and then they are able to capture this prana or light system. And of course, that was 20 years ago, was a big chair. All right, nowadays it's just a tiny little device whereby they can electrify you and then take a reading, and then they help see the aura. And I can share with you that the results, okay, that I got from the aura reading was very accurate. Okay, I found that it was very accurate. And I'm very impressed, and since then I've been trying to research and investigate all this type of invisible energy and spiritual phenomena. Now, so this to let you all know that it can and have been discovered, but of course now we have to make it clear. So mainstream scientists may not consider these scientists who do all these investigations as proper scientists, because it's a field of study that is, that is very niche, that is very, strange. All right, it's very strange for conventional scientists. So they may not be considered as real and proper scientists, even though most of these scientists do really have, proper degrees and PhDs and so on. It's just that the field of study is considered strange. Yeah. Now. So this is to elaborate on some basics about the three subtle energies, invisible energies that are present in the human body. Now, what I would like to share with you all is that this light system protects us from negative energies. Okay? Now, from invisible negative energies. We need to understand that this invisible aura that we have, it does not protect us from physical harm per se. All right? So, typically, what you're going to have is, I'm just going to show you all, yeah? So if this is a person, all right, this person is, I just do it very simple, a person seated in meditation. All right, this light system, you will have, typically it will have 7 chakras. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and the 7 chakras will generate an invisible light aura. Alright, now all this, the chakras or the aura is made of the same prana. So notice I'm using the color code red. Okay, so whether it's the chakras or the aura, it is made of the same stuff. Okay, and there will be energy channels. For example, the nadis run up and down. Okay, there will be any. I'm trying not to, So if I draw the 9, this will look kind of convoluted, yeah. But basically, you know, there's 7 chakras, and there's there's main energy channels traveling up and down the spine, and also throughout the body. Yeah, the main ones is up and down the spine. Now, this invisible prana system, one of the major functions is to protect us from negative energies. And okay, when I say negative energies, all right, so there can be energies which are there are two types. So energies as in the like from the environment. Okay, and it can also protect us from negative energies. They are entities. That means they are sentient beings. Okay, for example, it can protect us from evil spirits, from ghosts and evil spirits, demons, whatever you want to call it. So, evil spirits are real. Okay, those of you who are familiar with our work, we do help people deal with evil spirits, black magic, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, the light system protects us from negative energies, which include negative energies from the environment and entities. So, in terms of environment, now those of you who is into studying all these subtle energies, and those of you who are energy sensitive, all right, when you go to certain places, you will notice that some places don't feel good to you, right? Now, the energies that don't feel good to you, it can be due to energies that are from the environment, or it can be due to energies that are sentient. That means they have consciousness. They can move. That means they will be like spirits, okay? Now, negative energy from the environment, there are different fields that study it. All right, in the Chinese, for example, environment energies can be the Chinese call feng shui. All right, feng shui is a study of energies of the environment, be it positive or negative. All right, the Indians have Vastu Sastra. All right, the so-called Indian feng shui, right, the Indian version. All right, so different cultures, they recognize that they are invisible energies that are positive and negative. And in general, there will be two types, one from the environment. So if it's from the environment, that means the energy is not sentient. So the energy can't think, but it just move. All right, it's just like the wind will blow. Okay, it's just like sunlight can shine down. Okay, so these are all coming from the environment. The Indians even study the effects of planets. All right, astrology and how they, ancient cultures, they study that, and they believe that the planets have energies that can affect us. Yeah. So negative energies, whether it's from the environment or from entities or spirits, okay, as long as it's negative, our light system can protect us. Now, why is that so? So, our light system is made up of energies that are pure. All right? The energies are of light, although it's invisible light, and they are of goodness. Now, what do I mean by this? This light that we have, all right, have energies of goodness. Goodness such as love, kindness, all right, compassion, and etc. This light or prana has these qualities to it. Now, if you were to consider the we want to consider this, yeah? So, this light and prana system, they were discovered by the Indians. Yes, they were discovered by the Indians. And the Indians are very spiritual people, right? And of course, their main religion is Hinduism. Okay, so Hinduism. But there are also those that are not necessarily practicing Hinduism. Another ancient religion which originated from India is Buddhism. Okay, so the Indians discovered it. Now, whether it's Hinduism or Buddhism, or in fact any religion, all right, in fact any religion. So the Indians discovered that they discovered these chakras and nadis, and a lot of the ancient spiritual yogis, all right, yogis are people who practice yoga. All right. Now, the ancient yoga is not the so-called modern yoga that you see right now. Okay. The ancient yoga, or the real yogis, when they practice yoga, they practice it for a spiritual reason. All right. It's for a spiritual reason. And the reason, okay, the spiritual reason is actually they want to be, they're talking about union with their version of God. All right, or they call it, there are many terms, but one of the most important terms is para atman. All right, para atman. Now, atman or atma here, it means the soul. Para means big, great, or the ultimate. So the yogis, all right, a huge part of yoga, the ancient yoga that they practice, is so that they want to unite with God, and they have a very specific path. All right, there's a specific path they do to try and achieve that. Okay, and the specific path can be divided into two main components. All right, two main components. Okay, the first component is present in all religions. Okay, and that component is the component of all religions. All right, they will preach and teach this goodness. It means you must. I'm just simplifying. Okay, it's a simple term, goodness. Everyone knows what is goodness, what is good, what is bad, right? Okay. Now, all religions, and including the ancient Indian or Hindu. Now, Indians need not necessarily be of Hindu. Okay, some people understand Hinduism in a certain way, but the yogis, they were practicing something. They were doing prayers and a lot of meditation, and they also believe in this. They need to cultivate, first thing is goodness. You must be a good person. Okay, and there is a second component. All right. And the second component is present in the two main religions that came out of India. That is, whereby the emphasis is rather strong. In other religions, maybe not so strong. Okay, and the second component is non-attachment. Alright? Whether it's Hinduism or Buddhism, there is a strong emphasis that not only must you be a good person, you must learn not to be attached to stuff, to emotions, to people, to materialism, and so on. So a lot of the yogis, so if you go to India, the yogis, what they normally do is they let go of their attachment to everyday stuff, okay, to material possession, to money, and some take it to the extreme, not even eating food or eating very little food. So they don't even want to be attached to food, to eating, okay. So they take it to a very high level. So there is these two things that are important. Okay, now back to this light. So this light that we have, okay, is the pure light of goodness. Okay, I call it pure light of goodness because it is pure, it's of light, and it's of goodness. And you have all these, you need to be of goodness, you need the values of goodness. And then, like the ancient yogis have discovered, if you're of goodness and you also cultivate non-attachment, okay, you let go of your attachments, then your chakras will be strong, your aura will be strong, your nadis will be strong. So that is the way the ancient Indians cultivated, all right, so that they want to reach union with the para atma, with the great soul, or there are also other terms for it, right, like Bhagavan and all that. So this is the pure light of goodness. Now, Cordelia and I, okay, specifically Cordelia, okay, what Cordelia did was she discovered, okay, now the the ancient Indians discovered the chakras and the auras and the nadis. Now, Cordelia made a very interesting discovery, okay, that is the chakras, the nadis, and this aura actually have one source, okay, one source, and the source sits in our heart. And we discovered that inside our heart is the seed, the source of the pure light of goodness, all right? And from this pure light of goodness that is in our heart, it will generate the chakras, and the chakras will generate the aura. Okay? This is something discovered by Cordelia. Alright? The chakras actually come from the heart, whereby there is a pure light of goodness in our physical heart. We discovered that the aura is generated by the chakras, and the chakras are generated by something in our heart that we call the pure light of goodness. And when our pure light of goodness or our chakras or light is weak, okay, now what is the main function of our this light system that protects us? Is to protect us from negative energies from the environment and entities. It does not protect us from physical stuff. It does not protect us from physical injury. So for some people, maybe then what's the use? But for those of you who are spiritual people, who have spiritual and energy experiences, you will know, okay, that it is also important for us to be protected from invisible energies. And this is what the light system does. So it will protect us from negative energies of the environment, like feng shui energies. Now, those of you who are into feng shui or vastu, you will probably have heard, okay, that some of these negative feng shui energies can cause real bad luck or illness to befall the family or people who live in the dwelling, whereby the negative energies of the environment or feng shui is very strong. Yes? And of course, those of you who have experiences of evil spirits, and you will be able to tell that it is no fun. It is no fun, and it's no kidding, yeah? That if you are being disturbed by evil spirits, that is also something that can really screw up your life. Okay, so if so, generally what we see is, okay, we can see that people whose light, whose aura and chakras are strong, all right, now they will be protected from all these things, and in general this will reflect in terms of health. All right, they will have positive, they are generally more positive in terms of their mental and emotional health, right? There will generally be more people whose chakras or aura or their light is strong, their mental and emotional health will tend to be better. But for people whose light is weak, whose chakras and aura is weak, normally their mental and emotional health are not so good, because usually these people will be affected by negative energies of the environment or affected by some form of spirits, and if it's evil spirits, definitely their mental and emotional well-being will be compromised. Okay, so now so we have discovered that these pure lights of goodness, so the question I think many people will ask is, how can we strengthen this pure light of goodness, this light system that protects us? Okay, so firstly we need to understand the properties of this. So it's very simple, it's all in the name. Yeah, it is pure light of goodness. So, and like the way the ancient India discovered, in simple terms, you need to practice goodness and non-attachment. And of course, there is another way of strengthening this, and it is it's not a coincidence, or you can say it's a coincidence, that across all religions, okay, there will be prayers or mantras. Okay, so in the Hindu system or Buddhist system, there is also something, a third one, all right, which will be of prayers. And of course, for the Buddhists and the Hindus, right, prayers a lot of times they come in the form of mantras. All right, very specific sounding, very specific sounds, string of sounds. Okay, but like other religions, their prayers may be a bit more verbose. Right now, the thing is this: a very important point that we discovered. So, when people do prayers, these the chakras and the aura, the light will respond. That is a very important fact that we discovered. And now the important fact is also this: as long as it's a religion that is of light, all right, that is of light, this, your chakras and your aura, your pure light of goodness will respond when you do prayers and mantras that are of light, and then it will shine brighter, it will become brighter. It's possible to train to sense this. Now, why is this so? Some of you may ask. All right, there's of course a very long explanation, but I'm just going to give a very simple explanation. Now, there's going to be a question of where does this energy, this pure light of goodness come from? Where does this pure light of goodness come from? Okay, now I'm just going to keep it very simple. Life force and chi system is linked to the body. To the body. The prana or light system has nothing to do with the physical body. It is in the physical body, but it is not generated by the physical body. It comes from a spiritual source. Okay? We call the source by which we came. So our physical body comes from our parent, yes? Our physical parent, our daddy, mommy, or to be specific, from our mother. All right, but it's made by daddy, mommy, yeah? So our physical body comes from our physical parent. Now, our light does not actually come from our parents, but it is linked to the state of our parents. Our light comes from what we call, okay, the source of light. Okay, so our light comes from the source of light. And we discovered that, interestingly, this source of light, the source of goodness, is probably what the Hindus, the ancient Indians, call as the Para-Atman. All right, Para-Atman, the great soul. Because like the soul, the lights all come from this source of light. And we discovered that actually, many religions, the energies indicate they all come from the same source of light, whatever the religion is. Whatever the religion is, most, okay, I cannot say all, okay, most of the religions, if they come from this source of light, okay, if you do their prayers, the light in us, the chakras and the aura will respond. It will respond and it will light up. Excuse me. This is something that we discovered. And conversely, it also means that because there are so many religions on earth, all right, now I can say that the mainstream ones, okay, from Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all these main religions and the main paths, okay, the main paths in general, they are all come from light. Okay, they all, the prayers of all these religions will cause our light to respond and to strengthen. This I can share with you all. Okay, so it doesn't matter which religion, most of these main religions, but for some sects and cults that are deviant, they are not from the light. So we know that those main religions, they all come from the same source. They are from the same source, from this source. All right, you have Hinduism, Buddhism, and Christianity and whatever, all kinds of religion. They all come from the same source. And because they all come from the same source, all the prayers and mantras, if you pray and chant, all right, it will cause a reaction in our light, and our light will strengthen because it all come from the same source. So our lights too come from the same source of light. This is something that we discovered. Now, prayers is one thing, okay? I would also like to stress, okay? A key thing is these two, goodness and non-attachment. I have experienced, okay, that people, if in a moment of pure goodness, pure kindness of heart, all right, and they act, they take action in a moment. So you can have a person who's very dark, who's depressed and very dark and angry, but suddenly if this person, in a moment of pure love and compassion, helps another person, then something deep within us, the light will respond, even if the person has become very dark. The light may be very small, but in the instance of pure love, empathy, and action to help another human being, that light, from very tiny little speck of light, it will just burst forth, and the person will be filled with light. And this I have experienced. Now, so normally um, um, so I'm in this field, all right. So I'm trained to sense all this, and one of the common times I'm able to pick this up is during times of disaster. Now, times of disaster is of course very unfortunate, and there's a lot of suffering. A lot of suffering. It could be like an earthquake, it could be a plane crash, um, it could be a great flood, the tsunami. But normally, after disaster, there will be a great outpouring of love and kindness and compassion, and people will stream forth all wanting to help. I mean, many people. Of course, there will still be people who want to take advantage of the situation. But the people who, in the midst of suffering, they lend a helping hand to their neighbor, or everyone is suffering and yet they band together. These people, their lights will light up, and it's possible to sense. I've read of articles, I've been to such places, and yes, there's so much suffering and devastation. Okay, like a tsunami, for example, even Malaysia is affected. Yeah, and yet, when people act out of pure goodness, it is possible for this light to light up, and then they can be cleared. And what I'm mentioning to you all, why? Now, because there are many people who come to us for help, like for spiritual emergencies, they're dealing with negativity in their life. Now, if you can just take, in such moments, if you can just stop focusing on your own negativity and focus on what you can do to help another, you'll be surprised that something from deep within you can light up. And from a person who is very negative, you can become a person that can really make a difference in another person's life. Okay? And it is this thing that is so amazing. I've seen it. So there are many people who ask me, Ted, especially in the field of the spiritual work that I do, I help people deal with evil spirits and black magic and those kind of things. And they ask me, like, what can I do if what can other people do if they don't want to seek your help, or other people like that, and does it mean people who are affected by evil spirits or black magic, there's no way that they can get out of it by themselves? I tell them no. There are ways which they don't necessarily have to come to people like us. Okay, although it's probably the easiest way. They can, in some instances, okay, when they act out of pure love and goodness, if they can let go of their attachments, or by making very sincere prayers, all right, the light can light up, and then it can help protect and pick out and send negative energies away from them. Okay, but doing this is not easy. Okay, doing this is not easy. I actually did another video, another talk on whereby I talk about that evil spirits can't really harm people who are truly good. Can't harm truly good people, something like that. Okay, I made a recording. Because now, if you're really truly good, you will have this light, and this light will protect you. Or if you were very dark, but in one moment of goodness and you act, and then this light will light up. Okay, I have students with me who studied and they have experienced this, and they are also surprised. One moment they're focused on their own suffering, but because they're learning healing from me, and if in that instant they're really focused on doing and helping another person, and if they're pure enough, okay, it's not because they want to earn money, it's not because they want to do it so that they can prove to other people that they're somebody great and with powers, but pure goodness to help someone out of real compassion and kindness, then the light will light up, and there are abilities and powers that come with light, because all these lights come from the same source that we call the source of light. Okay. So to round it up, okay, now this light system, okay, there are other ways which we can do to enhance it. So for us, we teach light meditation. So there's a meditation that we teach every month, okay, online, whereby we teach a meditation that will strengthen the pure light of goodness and your chakras and aura. Of course, we also have another practice, okay, that is unity qigong. It is a qigong, okay. We have our own qigong that can strengthen all these three energies, okay, life force, chi system, prana, and do much more than that. And another central practice that we teach online, okay, that we share with you is non-attachment meditation. So we teach people non-attachment, and all these together will help strengthen our light. And when our light is strong, it will protect us from negative energies from the environment or from evil spirits. Okay, and this non-attachment, just to give some context, okay, it's very important to understand that the people who practice goodness, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm a good person. Yeah, I'm a loving person. Why not? You know, I love my wife. As long as she gives me, provides sex to me, I love my wife." But that is conditional form of love. I'm just saying as an example, okay? I'm just saying as an example. Now, how do we know whether we are practicing a high level of love or low level of love? I think this is very easy to understand because most people understand the highest level of love is a love that is unconditional. Yes, it means love that has no attachment. So it is not only must we practice love, but we must try to practice love with less and less conditions so that we can reach a higher state of love. So it's the same with all this, okay? So if we can practice goodness, goodness can come in many forms. Love, kindness, compassion, can be practicing truth, honor, integrity, wisdom, okay, different types of values. Okay, we must practice it in a direction of non-attachment with less conditions. Okay, like the same idea of unconditional love. If we can take our love higher and higher by letting go the conditions for loving, okay, then we will bring our love to higher and higher. So in that sense, right, we must practice goodness with an understanding of less conditions and less attachment. That's why it's quite necessary. So it's not just enough to think that, oh, I'm a very good person, I'm a kind person, but you have no idea how to take that goodness or kindness to a higher level. And it's a very simple one. It's just to make it less and less conditional. Okay. So with that, I've more or less come to the end of my sharing. Now, if you have any questions, I'll be looking at the questions you all have typed. Let me see. Feel free to type. So there's a Prashant asking whether do I take offline sessions. Yes, of course. But Prashant is no longer here. Hopefully you'll be able to see the recording. Okay, yes, I do offline sessions. Of course, it's easier to do online to meet everyone. Okay. And Coral is saying there are people, at least here in the US, who believe that empathy is sin. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, Eli is asking why. And Coral says, hoping people can continue to strengthen their light. Oh, Coral is saying, I think it's because of self-preservation that people think empathy is sin. Yeah, so there will always be contrarian views, all right, views that are opposite of what is the main view. So, and people will always have a way to justify their views and perspectives, yeah. But in general, in my experience, if you want your life to be strong, all right, practicing empathy is also one of the ways, okay. So it is a good thing, okay. And God says, hoping people can continue to strengthen their light and do good. Yeah, so the good news is this, okay. There are many ways to strengthen the light. So there are, of course, people who are spiritual and they are or religious. They do prayers and mantras. So now, if you don't do prayers or mantras, there are many people who are good people, right? Who are genuinely good, and their chakras and aura will be strong, and they will normally not be depressed and all. They will not be affected by negative entities and all that. And they will tell you, "I've never seen a ghost in my life. I've never seen any evil spirit." What evil spirit? If they're really kind and good people, all right, then their goodness will cause the light to be strong, their chakras and aura will be strong, and it will keep all negative energies away. And that can be true. And it's such a wonderful thing. And this thing runs across all religions, at least most mainstream religions. All right, so all the mainstream religions will teach you to be of goodness, and some of them will also add in the component of non-attachment. And if you do this, then all will be good, right? Because your light will be good, it will be protecting you from all this negative stuff. Okay, physical stuff is different. Okay, physical stuff is you gotta handle it yourself, right? Take care of yourself. Don't drink and drive, for example. Okay. So, any more last minute questions before we end this session? No. If not, then I thank everyone. And remember, all right, we also have our methods that help strengthen your light. And you strengthen your light system will protect you from negative energies. Okay, so we have Unity Qigong, light meditation, and non-attachment meditation. And this is the basis of what we do online, and it's all on free donation basis. So if you're happy with this session and you would like to contribute to help us continue sharing our content, please do make a donation. How to make a donation will be in the groups. Okay, if you can't afford it, it's also fine. I hope to see you all again. Thank you. Have a good day, good night, and goodbye.